I'll,
Okay.
I'll,
This meeting is
Okay.
being recorded.
nice.
Actually, let us introduce just to introduce Sagar to everyone. Sagar and me are classmates from IMK, many of the batchmates. Okay, and then once we got into the fintech domain, I was in discussions with many who are actually into this part of trading, right from mutual funds to stocks to who does any other kind of investments and all. And we were discussing about the cryptos. Okay, I met a lot of people who are doing cryptos, who are investing in cryptos, who are doing something, from their personal money they are investing. I think some people I have fair knowledge of how technology works. Okay, but now Sagar, why I wanted you to talk about this call is let's forget the technology behind crypto. How does that work? What blah 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 blockchain and all. Okay, and that's all okay. From the investor's perspective, what is that the call should be, what is that people should be aware of, what is this instrument actually, any if at all you have to liquefy, how do you do that? Will it be really possible in India or any other countries? How are they opening up? No matter what it is, crypto is growing. Okay, and the number of people who are investing in cryptos is growing. So we should, maybe before 50 years, even telecom is a new domain to India. Maybe people thought, having one cell or two cell phones per person is a myth before 50 years. But we don't know. So maybe we might miss a boat if you don't know about cryptos in future. That's the reason, whether it is going to be true or not, that time has to decide, not me or not you. Everybody knows it. But let's understand the first question on behalf of the viewers is, what is a crypto? Okay, as an instrument of is it an asset or is it an investment? Is it a kind of a stock market trade or a stock? That is the first one. And then, how do we, if we have to get into cryptos, what should we be aware of in terms of risk? Okay, is there an element of risk involved, or okay, I mean, the same risk which is involved with any stock is involved with crypto also? And what is the kind of regulatory, is there a concept of regulation makes an asset positive or negative? So we have to get into that concept. And then what kind of safety in what are the countries which are allowing? How, if you have to exchange, where do we exchange? If you have to buy and sell, where do we buy and sell? So these kind of questions which viewers have. So if you want to start with a PPT, you can start with, or if you want to explain more verbally also, we are okay. It's up to you, Saga, now.
Wow. So it's really uncharted. Thank you so much, Ranga, for having me. And like I said in the beginning of the call, uh, my only qualification of being in this call is that I'm Ranga's friend, right? So please don't take anything, which we discuss in the call as something which is coming from a financial advisor. I'm not, right? And the experiences and whatever we're going to learn today is absolutely personal, right? So please take it with a pinch of salt. Um, so having said that, Ranga, I just noted down a few things while you were saying, right? And happy to answer all the questions. And I could, come at three points essentially. One, what is crypto? Second is how to invest in crypto, because many people are, buying, but are struggling to make consistent money from crypto as an investment class, right? So I would not call that an investment if you're not able to make consistent money from that, right? It's as good as a bet. So yeah. Second point is how to invest in crypto, and third is what is regulations impact on crypto and how are different countries across the globe are responding to this, right? And we have examples across the board, right? Someone like El Salvador who has, absolutely legalized it, and to someone like China who has banned it 3 times, right? So,
Okay. So
when you
I
have
mean, I think if you can ban something for 3 times, then I don't think you can ban anything then. So I think that also is an interesting aspect.
true. Okay, but before I jump into any of these, I just want to get a sense across the room, right? Because I want this session to be as valuable as I can for the people who are present with us today, right? So can I get a quick check across the room on a scale of, we have 12 participants, and if I exclude myself, we have 11. Um, like, let me get a sense of where we are in our crypto journey, right? Or
Yeah.
how well you understand crypto.
Okay, I think, and I
Let,
can summarize on behalf of everyone, Sagar, actually, because I know
can
everyone,
they put it on
each
chat?
and.
Can they
Yes,
put
yes,
it
yes.
in chat?
Please,
Okay. Okay.
just put,
So can I request?
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, maybe I would not rate myself 10. I would rate myself somewhere around 6 and 7. Right. So on a scale of 10, 1 being the nascent and 10 being the pro, right? So can I request everyone to just put it on chat as to where they think they are? Okay. So I'm getting ones and twos. Uh,
Others
we
are
have
even
some
thinking,
more
what is one,
response.
first of all?
One
I'm
is
pretty sure.
absolutely nascent. Yeah, so you haven't even heard of crypto, or you know, just heard but not investing,
I
investing
think,
but don't. I mean,
yeah.
okay. So we are getting ones and twos mostly. Okay, got it. So I think in that,
And in that case, actually, I would also be one. I would also be one because
Sagar, somehow,
I know
Swarnit, we are not able to hear you completely. Maybe I'm missing, or Sagar, you are also not able to hear.
I'm missing as well.
Okay, okay, okay. I think just put it on chat, Swarnit, if the internet connection is not stable.
yeah, something
I think Swarnit just put it on the this one. Okay, perfect. I think he said that he's also nascent to the industry. That's what he's saying.
Okay,
Okay.
no worries. So let's then emphasize or don't give some more time to the first bit, which is what is crypto, right? And let's start with the very basic, right? And I'm using, present. Uh, it's not giving me an option to. So can I be allowed to present?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think a host should be given a permission. I think, Som, you are there? Just give a permission to
Shall I try
access,
now?
make it host.
So can you try now?
Actually, it might not be his issue from his side as well, because I'm nascent to Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. I think just there is a share screen option if you
Yeah,
see,
got it, got
Sagar.
it, got it, got
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
got it. Cool.
Yes.
Okay. So now while I'm on this, I'll not be able to see any one of you,
No, that's
right?
okay. You continue,
Or,
Sagar.
or let me do this.
You can do that. You can just minimize the screen. You will be able to see some of them at least.
Is it visible now, full screen?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes. Okay, great.
yes.
Then let's very quickly start with, and this is open source, right? I'll be more than happy to share this link with you. Slides are not made by me. Hello Bitcoin is a very good organization who made this slide. I'm just taking this opportunity to bring everyone, together, and let's talk about money, right? So we all like money, right? It is representation of our work efforts, and when we work, we receive money, which allows us to obtain other things that we want at a future date. There is a store of value, right? And money has evolved since forever, right? Dry stones. This was used in Micronesia, 580 to present day, right? As a money, and all of us know that the shell was also used as money up until late 1800s, right? And then someone said that, okay, let's use gold, right? It's still used as money, uh, and it is also a very good store of wealth for a lot of nation states, right? So what makes a good money, right? What makes a good money? What are the properties which good money has? Let's try and take a step back and think about it, right? It is durable, which is it doesn't perish. Like, it's not like banana which will go stale after a couple of days, right? It is portable, like all the examples that we saw in the past, you can carry it, right? You can transport it from one place to the other very easy. It is fungible. That 10 rupee note is, if I give it to someone, they'll be able to give me 2 5 rupee coins back, right? Um, and it's not like this 10 rupee note is unique, right? If I'm giving it to someone, they can use it as 10 rupee note, and it's as good, right? It is verifiable. That means it is easy to check its authenticity by looking at the number, or if you're looking at the INR, maybe Mahatma Gandhi's photo, and there are some other means. It is divisible. You can exchange it for smaller accounts, and it is scarce, right? It is not abundantly available, right? So these are the common things which we find uh, in a that which make good money, right? It's very rare to find all of these properties into something which we call as money. It is very easy to find some of these properties into a lot of things, but it's very uncommon to find, it's very rare to find all of these properties into something, right? Now, the point is, across the globe, people are living in different kind of regimes, right? And of course, this coming from I mean, your opinion could be different. It's my opinion that current money system is flawed because there is unlimited money printing, right? US Federal Reserve has $6 trillion worth of debt, and there is no upper bound. They keep on, making the limit go higher and higher with every, regime which comes in. Recently, I think 3 months back, again they were hitting that roof, and you know, everyone across the board came together and said that we need to borrow more, right? Because we still haven't recovered from the pandemic. So there is no upper bound to this debt which every country is essentially taking, and this debt is essentially money coming out of thin air, right? And these are the reasons why we are seeing a lot of inflation as well in recent years. Runaway inflation. Venezuela is at 100,000% of inflation. Even in India, we have seen double-digit growth in inflation for last 3 quarters steadily, which is also unprecedented. And this is happening in wholesale price, right? Um, Negative interest rates have been a common thing in Europe for 5+ years. It's also going to come to US now. Absolutely. Sri Lanka also. Yes, Sri Lanka is so much in debt. Even Indian government lent $1 billion to their existing debt of $73 billion, right? So there is no going back to the severe borrowing that every country across the globe has done in order to just grow, right? Uh, there is negative interest. Savers are forced to take risks, right? Someone like, think of someone like our parents, right? They are forced at this point in time to invest in mutual funds, etc. Why? Because if they put the money in the bank, the inflation itself is so high, it's it's essentially losing the value of money, right? The money is deteriorating if it's staying in the bank, right? Uh, and when the money is going into stock market is again unpredictable. Recently, all of us saw how quickly the stock market crashed, right? Uh, so authoritarianism is also on rise. China is coming up with social credit score. Even a recent closer to home example is India doing demonetization, right? Government coming up and saying, again, I'm not in favor or against demonetization, but it's just enormous power, right? That state has on your wealth, right? They can say tomorrow that all of you, whatever you made till now, it's not valid, right? They have this power with them. And it's us that we have given so much power to these central institutions, right? Question is, do we really want to give so much power to someone, right? Refugees facing capital controls. Again, we are not facing this, but look at the situation of Ukraine. Right, currently, a lot of people are leaving Ukraine. About 15 to 20 million people have already left. Right, and while they left, government faced. The government essentially said that you can't withdraw more than this amount, right, from the bank. Right, so much power, again, so much power we are giving to the central institutions. More than 2 billion people across the globe don't have any access to the formal, monetary system, because there is no banking, right? And these people are essentially left out of the financial system altogether, right? Recently there was a protest in Canada. Government was able to stop funds, right? In Hong Kong there was protest. Government was able to stop. WikiLeaks was, all the funding was stopped to WikiLeaks. So all of these things, physical cash is also disappearing, right? Sweden is moving towards all digital, nation, and it's increasingly happening in India as well, right? So what is the common thread? The common thread is, you know, uh, abuse of trust. We are trusting our central authorities a lot. It, it includes government. It includes unelected bureaucrats. It includes corporations in ways in which there is no or little accountability or visibility into how they are distributing funds, right? So when money went digital, even more trust is required. I mean, you might say that, when money went digital with Bitcoin or crypto, even more trust is required. So $20 bill is $20 bill, right? Uh, when you hand it to a merchant, or 100 rupees when you hand it to someone, it is a money which is actually flowing to someone, right? It is not digital. It's not like a photo which I can send to Ranga and which I can also send to Purnamji, right? So if think about this, that if it is digital, then what is the common issue which we might face? The common issue when the money is digital, or anything is digital for that matter, is that there is a potential of double spending, right? I might give a photo if it has a value, say, to Ranga, and there is nothing preventing me from sending the same photo to Poonamji, right? And this is something which cannot happen in digital world, right? If it happens in digital world or in the currency, then it's an issue. So we need to solve for that, right? Because in the current system, we have central banks who are essentially, we are trusting them to make sure that this note which I'm giving to someone is valid, right? And when I'm giving it to someone, I cannot give the same note to someone else, right? Because then it will be invalid. It will be a counterfeit currency. So central banks are currently the trusted parties between all the transactors, right? That this money is valid, right? Or the other person is good for the money, right? So when money went digital, the challenge is, whom do we trust now, right? So we went back and said that we will still trust the central banks, right? But we know that trusting the central authorities is leading a world into a, I would not say a bad state, but a state wherein we don't have control over our own assets, right? We are reliant so much on these central authorities. So when you trust someone unconditionally, what does that mean? It means, less privacy, less fairness, and less freedom. But this is where genius of Bitcoin comes into picture, right? Because you're not trusting someone, you're not trusting an authority, you're not trusting a central government. It's the code that you're trusting, right? And that's why code is as private. I mean, it'll give you privacy, it'll give you fairness, it'll give you freedom, right? Uh, so now that's where can we make better money, right? And that's where let's very quickly cover all the four topics. appreciate why Bitcoin is interesting, learn the basics about how it works, Q&A and conversation. And of course, like I said, this is not an investment pitch, right? And we'll try and cover this as quickly as possible. We might also skip some parts in order to leave some room for questions and answers, right? So very quickly, this is me invested in MFs and traditional markets since 2012. NISM, which is National Securities Management, investment advisor level 1 and level 2. But still, I say that I'm not an investment advisor because after clearing this, you need to appear to SEBI in order to say that you have cleared all of these things. Give me the certificate, but I did not appear for that. I didn't apply for that because 3 months back, 4 months back, SEBI came up with a circular that if you are an investment advisor, you cannot advise on any asset which is not regulated by SEBI, right? So I said that I definitely don't want that. So, by the way, a quick question: how many registered investment advisors are there in the country, in India? Ranga, you're on mute if you're speaking. No, I'm not able to hear you. You can put it in chat. Anyone wants to take a guess, feel free to unmute yourself and speak. Or yes, so Ranga is absolutely right. Did you check the SEBI website? Oh, Ranga must know. So, anyway, so that is a hard truth, right? Not many people know that only about 3,000 registered investment advisors exist in the country of 1.3 billion people. Only 3,000. Right? So anyway, so not going into that, and that's why a lot of us still need financial education as more than we think we need, right? So then I started investing, and coming back to this, then I started dabbling in crypto markets. Initially, I would say dabbling, and then investing. I dabbled because initially I also went with a FOMO that everyone is investing, everyone is making money. I was getting newsfeed that people are becoming millionaires overnight, right? Like, and a lot of people who relied on me for financial advice, although when I was not or when I did not clear these exams, just because I was an investor, they were asking me that should we invest in crypto or not. And initially I did not, for a very long time I gave the answer that I don't know because I'm not investing it, I need to learn about it. But then, just to do justice to a lot of people who sought advice, I invested my money, and then very quickly I realized that I was not investing, I was dabbling, I was gambling, right? And the day I invested, the second day my funds went up by 2x. The third day it was down by 70% again. Essentially, I was still 30% up, about 30% up. But there is one consistent thing which I realized was that these markets are too volatile, right? And there is a lot of money to be made from this volatility itself versus, thinking long term about these things. But then it's a different thing. Then I started investing, and uh, which I like to tell at a later stage. And like I'm still learning. Right? So that's about me. Very quickly, Bitcoin essentially is innovating at money layer, right? It's innovating at money layer. Like all the fintechs which we know about today are all innovating on the top, right? When I say innovating on the top, which is making a better UI, giving excellent customer service, etc. But the money part or the movement of money is still in a very traditional way, right? Across the globe. All the innovations in fintech space which have happened, recently are all at the UI UX layer, right? Now, Bitcoin is fundamentally innovating at the money layer, right? It's absolutely P2P, which is self-sovereign, scarce, and open to all, right? And of course, you don't need to trust anyone. Cool. How this became even possible, right? very quickly, 2008, Satoshi gave a white paper, and here we are today, right? $10 billion settled daily. Bitcoin's market value is about close to $1.5 trillion, and almost always up. Uh, Very quickly, I'll go through. I'm just running through the slides so that what are the ways in which you can have some crypto, right? You can have it in mobile wallet. You can have it or store it in an exchange. There is a hardware wallet as well, and you can also keep it in your mind if you're very powerful. Private key is very difficult to remember. Uh, Very quickly, I'll just exclude this because we are not going into the basics. And this is how transactions happen, proof of work. There are lots of slides, but let's just running with this in order to make sure. This slide. Anyone can send and receive Bitcoin. Anyone can mine. Anyone can verify. Anyone can improve. No one can block a transaction. No one can seize or freeze your Bitcoin bills. You're not required to, guarantee your property rights. Because property rights is like you're good for money, right? No one, there is no one to verify that you need so much or really have so much money. Uh, no one can devalue your Bitcoin. Because its price is determined by the market itself. No one person or group of people can determine price. So yeah, everything takes time to mature, and yeah, it is seen as a massive shift in the world of global finance. Cool. So I've done so many slides. Yeah, at 60 slides already, and I hope this gives you a bit of what is crypto, which is the first point raised by Ranga. Yes, I'll share the PPT as well. Just a second.
Uh, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay. So see, we talked about Bitcoin, but the larger was the crypto, and apart from Bitcoin, also there are many other currencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I hope means actually all runs on the base of blockchain. However, they have differences. Means like Bitcoin is different from Ethereum or whatever the different currencies are. So how this is goes means like what difference does it make means like with the different currencies if they are all on blockchain only?
Yeah. So you're very right, Swanit. So there are. I'm just thinking of the best way to answer this question. Okay. So if you're aware of proof of work, which is in Bitcoin's parlance, a lot of you need to prove that you're working, you're solving that puzzle in order to make sure, you are the one who is authorized to add a block or add a set of transactions, and then you are rewarded with a block, right? So every coin which is coming has to establish something by the way that anyone and everyone cannot make change to the database. If you look at it, what is blockchain is in a way uneditable database, right? It's uneditable linear database, right? So who gets right access to this database is something which is determined by various consensus algorithms. In Bitcoin's case, it is proof of work. In Ethereum's case, it is proof of work. It is moving to proof of stake. But in a way, very simply put, all these methods are to choose who gets to write into the database, right? And there is no one person who gets to write in the database. There is a different person always, right? So consensus and consensus amongst people who are eligible to write, right? So think of it as, Swarnit, Ranga, and myself, three of us have access to the database. Now, I I don't have write access to database. I might get write access to database if all the three of us agree, right? But then Ranga says, no, I want write access to the database. And then you also say, I want write access to the database, right? So we have to agree, all three of us have to agree on who gets write access to the database, right? And for this block of transactions, say Ranga and I both agree that let's give Swanit the access to write. That is a consensus, right? So this consensus happened. I'm just giving you an example, very, very simple example, right? So uh, this consensus can be obtained by various algorithms. One is proof of work, there is other proof of stake. But at the end of the day, this is what is happening: that someone is getting write access to the database, and the nodes, we call it nodes or anything, right? All the participants get to decide who is that person. Does it answer your question?
So in this case, the cryptocurrency which doesn't have anyone in a who have who doesn't have any right access, that should be the best one. If any currency which has some set of people or a organization who has this right access, that could be what I say means like can be hampered or can be means like in your slide there was a last point devalue. So if somebody has a right, then they can devalue, they can have their own command like an authority, like a country, the administration have, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when someone has write access to the database, and that person then it's a central authority, right? The whole point of decentralization is that there is no one person who has write access always, right? So that is the difference. But the good point which you mentioned is there are different consensus mechanisms, right? Like proof of work, which is used by Bitcoin currently, is 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 trying to get this consensus by hash functions, etc. Like there is a very complicated slide which I don't want to get to right now, but we have a slide which explains how proof of work works, right? And then there is proof of stake. Then there is also proof of storage, right? There are various ways in which you can essentially arrive at who gets to write. There is no there is no answer to which is a good consensus mechanism, because like it says in programming, like it's a feature for someone, whereas for someone it's a bug, right? So Bitcoin as a language is not Turing complete. You cannot write any programs on Solidity, on Bitcoin, sorry, on the language of Bitcoin, because it's not Turing complete. But Ethereum is Turing complete, which means you can write loops, you can write if, you can write for, etc. Right? And that's when Butarek made this. It's I strongly recommend for all of us, if there is a chance to read Ethereum white paper. It's very easy because when it was written by an 18-year-old, right? So it's very easy to read. It'll tell you everything which is to understand about blockchain and Ethereum in general. Like when he made Ethereum, his plan was something like let's write a set of codes. Let's write a language essentially on which people can code, right? So Ethereum is solid. Ethereum uses Solidity, so you can write codes on that, and that's where smart contracts, etc., were born. But now Ethereum also realizing that proof of work takes a lot of energy, they're moving to proof of stake, which is a different consensus mechanism. Filecoin uses a proof of storage as a consensus mechanism. Ranga, there is something seriously wrong with your voice.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. See, I think, to put Swarnit's question in a simple way, is there anyone who says tomorrow that crypto is not valid, my assets are gone? Can somebody say that?
Crypto is not valid, my assets are gone. Yes, a lot of people can say that. And there is a term for it. It's called rug pull.
Okay, so I
It's
think
called
there are a
rug
lot of
pull.
people have to say that, right?
Yeah. So that's why uh, 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 and rug pull essentially happens when the cryptocurrency like I'll come up with Sagar coin tomorrow.
Okay.
I can, right? I
Okay.
can write on
Yes.
Polygon,
Yes.
Ethereum, etc. I can come with Sagar coin. Have you guys invest in it? I write a nice white paper or a presentation saying that this is a very good coin. Invest, right? Some people would invest, and then suddenly my site goes blank, right?
Okay.
So you lose assets, but
Okay.
you will not lose assets. Like when I say, no one else has control on your crypto. It's when I talk about Bitcoin in particular, right? Because it is very popular, it is very established, it is in fact considered as a digital gold, right? Because there is no need for you to even find a place to store, which is the need if you have a physical gold, right? So yeah, uh, does it answer your question, Ranga?
Yes, yes, yes. I think, you say a lot of people who are involved in the transaction has to authenticate that we are pulling down the Bitcoin or something like that. Unless that happens, there is no reason for somebody to worry. Okay, so I think in this government's case, maybe one government has to say tomorrow, for example, if Ecuador, for example, who has gone into the sea. After that, everybody has gone to some countries like refugees. After when they came back, government said, no, you don't have any lands or something like that. Close. Everything belongs to the government now. That happened literally with one of my friends who settled there. And Ukraine also, whatever the property you have, it is vanished. But in case of crypto, there are a lot of people, maybe crores of people who are involved in the transactions, so involved in everything. So they will have to proofread or authenticate or something like that. Unless that happens, your value doesn't go down or get increased drastically. That's
Yeah,
what I
it
think.
doesn't.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, Ranga. So you're absolutely right. But the only point which I want to essentially highlight is if you own a Bitcoin, and owning means not on an exchange, right? If you own it in your own hardware wallet, it is with you, right? And no one
Okay.
can snatch it from you, right? Uh, 15 years down, because there are only 21 million Bitcoins in the world, unlike money, which is unlimited, right?
You mean the 21 billion, right?
Million.
21 million.
Million. Okay, that too. You mean the 21 million bitcoins?
Yeah.
Okay. So I
So
think,
there is a
I think,
limited
yeah,
supply.
there is a demand. I mean, definitely there is a demand, and supply is too limited, right? So of course, the guys who have this number of coins, once the demand goes up, this value goes up anyway. Okay. So I think who will decide when to increase the number of bitcoins present in the market? Like, if US is printing the notes, who will decide that?
No one can right now.
Okay.
Or
So that is always
or
that is always fixed.
yes, it is fixed from the way Satoshi wrote it. Right? It is
Ah,
fixed
okay,
from day
okay,
one. Fixed from
okay,
day one.
okay.
So can
Right?
Santoshi can change it?
No. Actually,
He
you
is
can
just
change
behind
it.
the algorithm. That's it. Yeah.
Actually, sorry, let me put it this way. You can change it. Anyone can change it. But the point is, it will not be accepted by the network.
Ah,
Because
exactly.
Bitcoin's code is out there. It's open source. You can change it, but
So
network
literally,
will
if
reject
tomorrow
it.
I want to, yeah, tomorrow I want to start, PG coin. What I'll do is I'll say this is the coin and this is the base value, say $1, and I'll release 1 lakh coins in the market, and I'll say, come and trade. Say I bought a water bottle from Sagar. I said I'll transfer $1 to Sagar. Okay. So maybe transaction happens online, but generally, literally, why I transfer is because of this water bottle, right? Maybe you gave me water bottle, I'll send you $1 as a crypto. So I put the records that, for this water bottle, I have sent $1 to Sagar, And for that, Swarnit, Sunil, Sai, or whoever is online in that Bitcoin community has to authenticate the transaction. Then yes, then I say that $1. This product is of worth $1. Will I say, or $1 whatever has transferred to you is correct? That's how will that validate? How will they validate?
Yeah, got it. So bottle doesn't come into picture at all. What Bitcoin is essentially, it's a ledger, right? It only checks whether you have $1 or if you are selling, whether I have $1. I'm good for the money. What do banks check at this point in time?
Exactly.
Do banks
you have
check
money in the account or not? That's it. Why you are using that is immaterial.
Exactly.
Okay.
But bank can, right? If you are doing a transaction worth 50,000 or more, or 1 lakh rupees or more, tomorrow someone can come up and knock your door saying, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And you can't tell them, it's my money. I use the money in which I want.
Correct.
But it's happening with Bitcoin also. No? Now government is coming with the regulations and everything, so you can't transfer just like that. Whatever way you want, you can use. No?
Okay, so Gopal, I'm because the session is getting recorded. I'm little uncomfortable answering it right now, but I'll tell you at the very core what is happening when you're doing a Bitcoin transaction, and most of these are P2P, right? And I'm considering a P2P version of it and not the exchange version of it, right? Exchanges and Bitcoin, it's a notion. 90% plus people think if I want to buy Bitcoin, I have to buy it through an exchange, which is WazirX, CoinDCX, Binance, etc. Actually, you don't need any of these exchanges, right? You can go to a decentralized exchange, give your money, buy a Bitcoin, right? And in fact, it's much safer that way than trusting a centralized exchanges, right? And then you can also take it out in your own hardware wallet, and then no one can do anything about this. All of these transactions, Gopal, are person to person, right? I'll give you one very quick example, right? And this is live on WazirX, etc. So I can give this example, I guess. There is a person, like, you can go to WazirX, or I think other exchanges also allow that. And there is a P2P section, which is person to person, right? In which you say that I want to buy a cryptocurrency, which is called USDT. It can be anything, USDT. I want to buy USDT at 78 rupees per USDT, right? And you are the one who are selling USDT, right? Which is a crypto, in a way banned by the country. Let's consider this, right? So our orders match. Like, you are willing to sell at 78, I'm willing to buy at 78. That crypto called USDT, right? The way P2P happens is, because both the buyers and sellers prices are matching, your Google Pay ID or etc. is available there. I'm supposed to transfer that money to you. I transfer that money, you give USDT to me, right? This is a transaction. This is the way the transaction happened, right? So where is the government in between? It is as good as doing it with a phone, right? I'm giving you a phone. You are giving me 20,000 on GPay, right? Can any government stop this? It's a person-to-person transaction.
They cannot stop it, but maybe Gopal's intention is they can track it. That means you have 20,000 to transfer. So in terms of crypto also, they'll be able to track. That's what they are saying, that for income tax purposes, you declare how much cryptocurrency you own and from where you transferred and record it. And whenever you are withdrawing the profits, 30% should go against the taxes. Okay. So I think Puranam sir also has a question. How do you first of all withdraw? Say for example, he has invested 1 lakh. Tomorrow is ready, but day after tomorrow it becomes 2 lakhs also. But where is that 1 lakh for me? How do he withdraw? Any platform provides that withdrawal facility, Sagar?
Yeah. So there are on-ramp and off-ramp providers. On-ramp providers are essentially, in normal world, we would call them as payment gateways, right? An off-ramp is also payment gateway. So there are virtual but to answer Poonam's question, it depends. I mean, if you have it, if you're doing it, I'm most likely you will be doing it through a centralized exchange, which is like
Like
Coinbase.
WazirX or something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have that
you have
withdrawal
your bank
facility,
account.
right?
They
Okay.
have this withdrawal. Easy answer.
Acha. So I think Sagar sir, Puranam sir, if you want to have this question, say I use Unocoin. Sagar uses Binance or something, and somebody uses WazirX. There are thousands of coins. I think government doesn't even know the company names as far as I understand, because many of the advertisements are coming in the IPL, and they are there. People are buying and selling. People are withdrawing money. It is coming into the account. Suddenly, government woke up and said, "Chalo, whatever I get, I'll get 30% because you are earning something." That's it. See, yes, I think in terms of government, they must be right, or maybe money laundering they want to stop. That's not our discussion or topic. Our topic is to understand buy, sell, whether to buy or sell. Okay, Sagar, I think if you go to the next question without if what is answered. Yeah, I think yes, sir. Pranam sir, to answer your question, WazirX is one company. It's like it's an exchange. It's a kind of a centralized platform, you can say, where you can buy and sell. And you have Unocoin, which is a platform where you register with your bank, do a small KYC. It's not required, but just to transfer the money, they need a KYC. And then once the amount is transferred to the Bitcoin, your account, that wallet, so if I say WazirX wallet, then from there you can buy button is there. You can just go there and click on buy. You will buy. You will get Bitcoins in your system. And when you sell, you will get sell, and it will come to your wallet. And in that wallet, there is an option called deposit to my bank. If you click on that, it will come to your bank if it is required. Okay, that is there. Same like a normal stock brokerage platform, like anything like Zerodha. This also works. I think to answer this question, simply this is the one, and there is, I think Sagar has mentioned WazirX, Coin, DCX, Coin Switch, etc. Okay, so I think Sagar, this is the first question, and the next question which we had in our mind: what should we keep as a risk element when we invest in this crypto coins? Like same like stocks, we should be aware. Yes, the same disclaimer which comes very fast, nobody understands the same way, or anything which you want us to be aware of.
Very good question. Very good question. And I have a
no answer that.
I have a slide. I have a slide. In fact,
Okay,
I
great,
want
super.
all of us to see this. It's not a
please,
slide.
Please show that. Yeah.
It's a discussion. So what is the risk with this asset, right? The answer is risk is only, risk is proportional to the reward. How much reward you want, right? If you want to go 10x in a day, risk is very high because your reward is very high. Reward expectation is very high, right? If you are looking for 1 or 2% gains, possible, because the market is very volatile, right? Now, if we compare I think the question which you had in mind, Ranga, was how risky this is with respect to traditional investment classes.
Investments, yes.
Very risky compared to traditional investment classes, because just look at this, right? There are lots of what contributes to a particular asset class being less risky. A lot of participants, matured market, right? And very clear price discovery, right? All of these things are present in traditional markets. This market is new. Very few participants, very few large participants, right? And then there is a long tail. Very many, retail investors, but very few large whales is what we call it as in crypto world, right? Anyone who is holding a very large position. So they have a power to sway markets because there are not so many participants as there are in traditional stock market, right? So that's why it is relatively riskier asset compared to all the traditional assets which we have.
Great. Okay. So the next question, Sagar, which many of our viewers had to me, I answered in some way before. But the next question is, say Indian government comes with a regulation that you can't trade in crypto. What will happen to us? I mean, tomorrow they say, no, whenever you go to an exchange like WazirX, Sagar's Puranam sir has got excited tomorrow and invested 2 lakhs, and tomorrow banks, the government says, no, you can't withdraw now. So what should be done? Can we spend at least this money somewhere in foreign currency? That kind of the risk is there. That kind of possibility is there. Like, I go to Dubai, so I spend for a hotel. Is that possible?
So it's a tricky answer again on this platform, but what I can say is, if it is banned, it's banned, right? I mean, you can't use it in the country. But again, the question which comes to my mind is, it was banned for good 2 years, right? RBI
Okay.
banned it. Then government also said it's illegal. But still the market developed, right? And right now government has come to the stage in which they're saying we'll tax it 30%, right? So I think the market will develop. Government will realize that it's at this nascent stage of an industry, it's not fair to strangle it, right? So that is what is my hope and view. But if it is banned, it's banned. But if you're going outside, yeah, I mean, because a lot of these things are person to person, right?
Correct.
If you are going to a barber shop and the barber shop says that, yes, I will accept, Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is highly divisible, right? That's why with 21 million, you're good, because it's divisible. And by the way, smallest unit of Bitcoin is called Satoshi, right?
Oh, really?
It's, I think,
Great.
10 raised to about -6 or something. 10 raised to about -6 or -7, if I'm not wrong. But you can buy Satoshis as well, right? If you want to invest at $10, $20, because Bitcoin currently is worth, I think, about 43, 44K USD.
Okay, great. So understood. So you say that it all depends upon person to person. If person is agreeing for, say, I think, gold, water bottles, cans, ACs, there's, though I think anyway we can do that. Next question. I think you answered that whenever you have. Yes, Suresh, please.
Just one input, right? If it's banned in India and if you hold your assets in a custodial wallet like WazirX, then you can't use it outside. You have to transfer to your wallet, personal wallet, then you can use it wherever you want. So just my input. Sagar, hope it's correct.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Suresh. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, I think that's a great information, Suresh. Understood. Okay. Acha. Okay, now next question, Sagar. This basically, people buy cryptos for two reasons. One, as a medium of exchange for trading, okay, or it's an asset. Okay, asset is used for multiple purposes. Okay, asset is used for mortgages. If you may ask me, can this kind of mechanism has developed in other countries somewhere that this is used as a guarantee or a mortgage, something like that? Because I could see that these days trend is improving. Like if you are getting into a software contract, okay, and there is an escrow kind of agreement, or there is a wherein two parties agree that if I deliver this, you will transfer this, and if you don't transfer, then where will you keep a escrow and all this kind of mortgage kind of thing? Possibility is there with Bitcoin? Is it happening, or it's still naive? I don't know about that.
Yes, so it is very much happening, and that world itself is evolving. It's called DeFi, decentralized finance, in which collateralized loans are being given out. You deposit your Bitcoin, you deposit your Ether, you deposit any cryptocurrency, and you can actually get loans against it, right? And these loans are typically like I'd say that it's only operating in crypto to crypto world, in which you gave so much of Bitcoin as a guarantee, and you got some thousands worth of USDT, right? Which is equivalent to USDT is a currency which is pegged to US dollar, right? You got so much of USDT. So yes, these are called collateralized loans, and a lot of platforms are giving it.
In India?
All of globally, I mean, boundaryless actually, but yeah.
In India, somebody is there who gives that kind of loans. I mean, any platforms?
India, I don't know. There might
Okay.
exist, but all of the
Okay.
Indian exchanges. I'll tell you one exchange which is Indian but registered in Singapore, which is Vowled. So
Okay.
yeah, you can give Bitcoin and they will give you loans on USD.
Okay. Okay. So next question, many of our players, many of our viewers have is one question is uh, there are hundreds of coins. So Arnit was asking, there are one coin, USDT, that coin, this kind and all. I don't know where to invest. Okay. Is it that I only have to invest in Bitcoin or others is a choice? Say, for example, I invest in Ethereum and Bitcoin grows, or I invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum grows. Okay, so we are very nascent to market, the new beginners, you can say. So whenever you enter into a stock market, you directly don't get into stocks. So the first entry is a kind of a mutual funds, okay, wherein the mutual fund house buys from 10 cryptos and then keep it as a wallet or something like that. It is we don't have to track it every day. Every month we pay something and do that. Is there a kind of platforms which are coming up with this kind of idea? I know that whatever it is, I don't want to speak about anything here. Who does that? What does that? But I want to know: is there any official platform like that who does this mutual funds of cryptos?
Yeah, I mean the answer is yes and no, Ranga.
Okay.
So very quickly, mutual fund in crypto is I would say three types. There are three types. One is ETFs. Like if someone is entering the market, you would want them to do mutual funds, like you rightly said. But in mutual funds also, you would likely advise them to go with index funds, right?
Correct.
Which is
To
again
begin
very
with.
low volatility. And so
Right.
there are index funds available, which are uh, SEC register, which is not in India, of course, outside, but there are Bitcoin ETFs which exist, right? So you don't necessarily buy Bitcoin, but you buy this ETF and it has a portion of Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., depending on the kind of fund that you buy, right? This is point number
Okay.
one. Bitcoin and other crypto ETFs exist by very large fund houses, right? This is point one, which lets you participate in Bitcoin upside and downsides, right? Your returns will essentially replicate what Bitcoin's returns are, but you don't own any Bitcoin, right? So this is the starting point, like 101 for investors. Then comes uh, the second part, which is crypto mutual funds, which essentially are real actively managed mutual funds, right? Because ETFs are passively managed.
Correct.
These
They're
are
just linked.
actively
That's
managed.
it. Yeah.
Yes. Then there are actively managed crypto funds, and actively managed crypto mutual funds are two types. One is where you are, one is where they essentially work like current mutual funds, in which you give money, they give you NAV, you get units, etc., and you get returns. Very simple, right? The and everything is on the mutual fund manager, right? Like they essentially try to beat the market, right? So if similar to actively managed mutual funds, in which they try to generate alpha, right? If market is giving 5%, we are giving 10%. If market is down by 5%, we are up by 3%, right? So stuff like that, actively managed mutual funds. And then for advanced traders, for advanced holders, there are algorithmic trading strategies. There are platforms which provide these algo trading strategies, right? Which you can connect your, uh, you know, uh, wallet with, which you can connect your wallet with through APIs, and you get to select which algo trading strategy aligns with your level of, risk and return. So you select that algo trading strategy. It links with your wallet, and then the trading happens on your wallet, right? And you essentially pay some fees to the strategy owner, right? So this is the third type, in which funds essentially remain with you, right, in your own
Understood.
wallet.
Okay. So it's a virtual. It's an actual mutual fund of cryptos then.
So actual crypto fund. All the three are actual crypto mutual funds. One is
So it
ETF.
will be like a NAV kind. There will be, see, in our mutual funds there will be an NAV value which is across standardized across the platform. So the similar concept exists in cryptos as well, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great, great. And next question, out of curiosity, F&Os. Basically, F&Os are done to cover up the losses in stocks. That is the purpose of F&O. Most of the times, the futures and options are for that. But hedging, but the purpose itself is different now. It's like people buy and sell because of it's a making money. See, gambling is part of men's blood. They have done gambling with stones, after that shells, after that fishes, after that anything, they will do that. Okay, that's a nature. But in this Bitcoin also, the concept of F&O exists, or any of virtual instrument like that?
Yes, absolutely. Bitcoin down, Bitcoin up. In fact, not just Bitcoin. All the other coins also have F&O. So
okay.
it does
this
exist.
Also can be traded on WazirX, CoinDCX. Those platforms have it, right?
I don't know about Indian exchanges. Very.
Binance?
Binance has it. You can try. Binance has it. FTX is in fact a pioneer in having all the instruments which are F&O. Yes.
Okay. Great. And another question which many, I think, Vijay has.
But I'll just add to that. The reason why most people, and like you rightly said, people are using options and futures and F&O in traditional markets to make money, right? More than hedging, right?
Correct.
But what I'll also like to state here is F&O in cryptocurrencies is very, very risky, right? Extremely risky. I'll tell you the reason why, because people do F&O in traditional markets because traditional markets don't have so much of volatility. Like 1% movement in Nifty causes a news, whereas 10% movement in Bitcoin is not a newsworthy item. Newsworthy item, it only is when it drops by 40% or it increases by 50%. Right?
And what is the stop loss then? Maybe 0%?
Let me come to the trading strategies later. But what I intend to essentially highlight is when you look at, so that's why in Nifty, etc., when people are trading, they do it cross 75. Like there's a lot size, right? Because when you do it 75x, then there is substantial amount left, right? For you to make money from that asset, right? And that's why people do futures and options. But what to do when the base asset itself in Bitcoin is so much volatile, has inherent volatility of 10-20%, right? You don't need that leverage. You don't need that leverage. And imagine if you take leverage and it moves by 10-20% here and there, what will happen to your positions?
It's too risky then.
Yes. So, I just want to make sure that all of us understand the level of risk, because you start with $100, $200, maybe you will make $1,000 in a day, but the second day, the $1,000, position will get wiped out in seconds because it's that volatile. The asset itself is that volatile. And if we multiply it, if we do leverage trading on that, which means of futures and options, it's extremely high risk.
Okay, great. So next question, Sagar. I think in the time constraint, I think we have to make it quickly. See, blockchain, crypto, token, sometimes NFT. Okay, they're all mixed words. People say blockchain and they assume that it's a coin, and the coin is different. They sometimes say coin. So can you please differentiate these words for our viewers in a layman's language?
Okay, so
Bitcoin, crypto, token kind of thing, this kind of things, So
I'll attempt, right? Blockchain is basically a database, right? Blockchain.
So you can't trade in blockchain. You can say this. That's what you say. Just a word.
It's
so
the underlying
technology.
Yeah, you can't trade in blockchain. Blockchain is the underlying database. It just is, Sagar gave Ranga $10. Ranga gave, Vijay $5. Ranga still has $5. So the record is kept by database, right? That is blockchain.
Achha.
Now,
Okay.
earlier we
Okay.
had. Now, what is different? What is different in blockchain from a traditional database is in traditional database anyone can read. Or most databases, it's easy to read, write, or there is a central person who's keeping a ledger. In
Okay.
Bitcoin, you can't do that. All the transactions transactions cannot be edited, right? So that is the novelty which Bitcoin came up with, right? Uneditable database, right? Immutable, that cannot be modified. And there is a reward for maintaining this database, right?
Oh,
People who are
okay.
maintaining or keeping records of the transaction actually get a Bitcoin. That is a reward.
Okay.
So coin is a reward for maintaining database,
Okay.
right?
Great. Super.
So
Okay. Perfect.
so that's how coins are created. That's why coins are mined. That's why the term is mined. These coins are mined, right?
Okay.
You maintain a
Okay.
database, you get a reward. This is your
Okay.
reward.
So
You
what
get
I
coins.
understood is blockchain is a technology underneath. This is the first
Underneath
point.
it.
Am I right? Okay.
Yes.
And what about token? Token word is used frequently.
Yeah. So token is the native currency for maintaining a particular blockchain, right? You maintain Bitcoin's blockchain, you get Bitcoin.
Okay. Okay.
You
So
maintain
what?
Ethereum's blockchain, you get Ether. So
Okay. So
very
what is this
simplistic.
token here? Token means it's a one piece or something like that. A piece of it, something
Yeah.
like that.
So token, coin, all are synonyms.
Okay. 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 So I think either token is a technical word, coin is a little bit loosely word. That's it. But otherwise, owning a token and owning a coin is possible, right? Owning means.
Absolutely. And token is a reward. It's necessarily a reward for maintaining.
Acha. And coin is the one you can purchase and sell.
I mean, Bitcoins. I mean,
Even token
tokens
can
also you
also
can
be.
purchase. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
that is the reward for miners, right? Why Bitcoin miners are mining?
Minus.
It- why are they doing this? Why are they putting in so much effort? Because they get
They need
Bitcoin,
some
right?
money for
And
that.
what
Okay.
will they do? What will they do with the Bitcoin? They will sell it, right? So
Correct. Of
that's where
course.
that's where the transactions are happening.
Okay, okay. And the question was token, blockchain, coin. These three are the differences. So you said that blockchain is the underlying technology. Token and coin are used interchangeably in most of the systems. I think Vijay, I think this answers your question, right? Or any other questions, Vijay, Swarnita, anybody, Rini, or no? You can go on now.
No, I'm good, Ranga. Thanks, Sagar. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, thanks, Ranga. Hey,
I think we are
Sagar.
running. Yeah.
This is Lenny. Hey, man. So a question that I had is, um, see, Bitcoin transactions, they take time, compared to those of Litecoin today, right? So fundamentally, from a transactional point of view, I always I always find myself trending more towards Litecoin's vision for day-to-day use, right? Application.
Mm.
So is
Mm.
that an ideal observation, or is that a right observation?
Yes. I mean, so TPS. Okay. So there is
Yeah.
transaction per second for
Yeah.
people who don't know this. Rennie is talking about transaction per second, right? And just for context, Visa and Mastercard do about, I think, 1 million plus transactions per second, or they have the capability to do so much transactions per second, right? And that's why a lot of people criticize that Bitcoin is too slow. Only 5 transactions per second. Where are we? Where are we going? Right. So Rennie, your point is fair from TPS standpoint, right?
Mm.
That you feel that okay, Litecoin, because it has a higher TPS, it will have a higher upside
Utility, from a utility point of view.
from utility standpoint. Okay. And utility as a money, right? Because Ethereum is not considered, like Ethereum did not position itself as money. Ethereum was like, we are, Turing complete kind of a thing. So this is a subjective answer, right? I'm going to give, and my opinion may differ from everyone else's. And my understanding tells me that Bitcoin will continue to have this lead over all the coins which exist, right? Because I see it as like two axes, right? What define future value or utility of a coin? One axis is popularity, like how popular you are, because in crypto world, the more popular you are, the better utility it's assumed, right? And the second is technologically how sound you are. How sound is the underlying technology? Right?
Yep.
Popularity, technologically sound, which includes TPS, which includes consensus mechanism, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So one may argue that EDA, which is Cardano, has a very good technologically it's far more advanced than all these
more
coins,
white papers, right? More professionals behind it, etc. Right? Yeah.
But it's not very popular.
Not popular, yeah.
Not popular, right? So that's why its market cap is also like it's close to I think 7 or 10 now. But Bitcoin, despite being so technologically challenged, I mean, one can say that it has the worst technology because it is proof of work, because it is slow in transactions, because it is not Turing complete. It's absolutely worse in form of technology, but it's extremely popular because of being the first mover, right? So that's why I feel, I mean, even if we combine these two things, right, Litecoin is somewhere in between in both, because it has a high TPS, but not as high as Solana or maybe ADA, and it's not very popular as like I said, it's a subjective answer, and this is the axis which I like. I have two axes to identify where a coin essentially is. Which will
I think I got
determine
what I wanted, Sagar, and it's a very, very, I would say, distilled, view that you have, these two axes, and yet, it's a lot of food for thought for me, actually. Thanks so much, man. It's very clear.
Thank you for asking this question, Remy. Always good to hear your voice.
Likewise. I mean, so happy to be here with all of you guys. So Renka, Puranam sir.
Thank you, Renny. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys? We have on the call to ask any regarding the basics of crypto. So I think target was to answer 3 questions. One, what is crypto? 2, how can we trade? How can we buy, sell? How can we get the money? Can we do that? 3, what are the regulations, bannings, what exactly is happening around it, whether owning risky parts, what are the risky, unrisky parts, F&O elements. We have learned a lot of concepts, Sagar, just in a span of 1 hour, I think 1 hour, 15 minutes. We have learned a lot of things. Thank you very much for your knowledgeable inputs. We will share your PPT as well with everyone, whoever is needed for that. And if there are no questions for viewers, then we'll wrap it up for today. Let's get ready for Monday morning sessions tomorrow. So it's a heated discussions from tomorrow's meetings, right? Most of the people spend in meetings on Mondays. That's the problem there. Even me, I'm part of the job. We can't escape. Okay, Sagar, thank you very much for coming. Thanks a lot. I know that you had a deep knowledge on the cryptos. I'm pretty sure. I was pretty sure. That's the reason I wanted you to talk. And next session, which will be calling people, is about NFTs. There is a lot of discussion on NFTs. Nobody knows what is happening. Basically, we are like, though we don't do anything, we want everything to know. That is a good thing, right? I want to know what is NFT. So many of the people have asked me, what is NFT? What is NFT? I answered in calls or something like that. But we wanted to make a webinar on what is an NFT, whether the NFT and cryptos are same. How does that value evaluated? Is it more risky, less risky? Somebody say it's an art or something like that. So thank you very much, Sagar. Once again, we wish you a very all the best in your future endeavors, whatever you want to do. We wish you a very good night then. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sangha.
Thanks everyone, guys. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you everyone, guys. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye. Take care.